Okay, hey everybody, it's Dr. Rimka coming to you from my house. And so I'm with a good friend of mine, Casey. She goes by many names, but we're going to keep it real correct and proper for some videos. So I'm probably, when you see this, we might be in different outfits. I don't know. We're maybe going to splice some stuff together. But I do a lot of different things trying to help her with her health from time to time from a distance. She currently lives in Detroit, where we're both from, but ends up flittering into Atlanta and Texas and San Francisco.
I'm a little bit of a nomad.
So I give her different, health recommendations, and she does my home recommendations. So actually, she's down here visiting yet again, working on my house. So
in the cold and the rain and the snow.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of things. So we've had just the snowpocalypse, 2018 recently, unexpectedly, where nobody went to school for 3 days for 2 inches of snow and ice. But you saw how extra it gets down here.
Yeah, dude, there was like a half an inch of ice underneath snow, and yeah, it was stupid.
Yes, you can't.
Yeah, I went outside, and it was just like, okay, so Mama Nay, we're doing this.
Yep.
Yeah, we're doing this.
So it came down to paint the outside of my house on this trip, and we've had some
interesting
issues.
Stuff.
So look at her. You can't really see it because we're sitting, but she's ill. She has little baby feet, little legs.
I'm a smooth 5 foot, sort of 2.
Maybe. So she's tiny, and she does a lot of work, right? So she's been on my roof and all this stuff. So she was a licensed contractor in Texas for many, many years, and she's retired from doing that. She doesn't want to do that, build all of those things. But part of many things she does is do a little bit of side work, contracting, painting, and renovating, blah, blah, blah. Only what she wants to do. Yeah. Only for friends and family.
Don't ask me for stuff.
Yeah, language. Well, you build furniture. You'll do some custom stuff for people you really care
that I
about.
love.
Yeah, some for if she really feels inspired. I know there's been some folks that again that are sick, maybe with MS. You've done some special things for them. You'll renovate bathrooms to accommodate wheelchairs. So she picks and chooses. It's not her primary thing, but it's her primary thing for me right now. I'm like, quit your job, come to Atlanta, which she did. She quit her job, came to Atlanta. So why I wanted to kind of say anything about this was, so I said, okay, hearing some of her things, she's here staying with me, so we get to talk every day, what's happening with your body, what's happening with your mind and your life and your things, right? And so I haven't gone into full toxicity mode with her, like clearing all her toxins, but basically you can imagine as a painter and licensed contractor for the number of years that she has been, I would say contractors, especially painters, or mold remediation, and she's done a lot of that, been exposed to a lot of mold. Yeah, stop shaking the table. Say we have issues with our tripod. Yeah. And actually she's, sorry, that was full breast touching. She's covered in tattoos. So it's a whole other issue that we can talk about in terms of just heavy metals and toxins. And, I have,
I will continue to get tattooed.
So
you just have to continue fix me.
There we go. So again, I'm just letting you know, but these are just the level of toxicities. Those kind of contractors, painters, remediators, people dealing with chemical cleanup. She's done some crazy cleanup. You don't even want to know about some of these things, like crime scene things. Yeah, it's like, ooh. Them and hairstylists are typically some of our most neurotoxic clients, because working in a hair salon, it's a great job. You help people feel well and all this stuff, but there's a lot of chemicals that you're exposed to with all the hair dyeing and bleaching. So the amount of products they use. So they tend to be really toxic as well. So anyway, in some of those conversations, I'm like, okay, we got a couple things we need to take you through. I said, I haven't even told you about some of these little magical things I do. I've adjusted her when she's here, and I've done a brain map, but you don't live here. I can't like fully do neural feedback or do whatever. So it's more just some basic metabolic stuff. One of the things we helped her with tremendously, I know helped you, was the Restore.
Yes.
Right? So I didn't grab it over here, but a lot of you know I talk about Restore, and that's a redox signal. What is that? Because I'm going to talk about another redox signal. Basically, they're the reduction and oxidation, so we call it redox. It's how the body talks, is with these chemical messengers that the cells put out to let everybody talk with each other. It's kind of the Wi-Fi cellular communication that happens between cells. So Restore is one that's taken for gut disorders, basically, but it does more than that, but it's specifically kind of solved a massive problem for her in like a week or something stupid.
Yeah, it was like I had a brand new body.
Yeah, it was like magic. You're like, so everybody responds very differently. Some people say, I don't feel anything. I'm like, that doesn't mean it's not working. I don't feel anything if I drink or don't drink water, but I know I'm healthier when I drink water.
Right.
But she was in and out of the hospital several times, a lot of gastrointestinal issues. And I was like, step one, boom, boom, boom. We had a few things. And Restore was huge in that. And why did it do that? One, it did tighten the cells. There's the junctions. It physically tightens them, right? It's like, oh, let's heal and stop letting toxins get into her bloodstream. That was huge. But the big thing it does, it's a redox signal of all the bacteria that are in there, and it allows them to all talk to each other. So those bugs would find like, oh, they can't do their jobs if they can't talk with each other. So it's nothing added. It's not like magnesium and B vitamin. It's not what it is. It's the actual chemicals that the bacteria send. And so by putting a little bit in the system, it wakes them all up, they talk to each other, and they reorganize themselves, and they protect you. Those bugs in your gut are doing more for your health and your DNA expression than your own body really is doing. So that was a huge thing. So this other redox signal, so she came down, I'm like, all right, she responded wicked crazy to this. Now I want to run her through my whole true cellular detox protocol and get her really kind of cleaned out, heal the cell. She doesn't even really know what I'm talking about. She just basically does anything I tell her to do.
Basically.
Which is so great. Instead of fighting with me.
Well, because you have been doing this and education, seminars, training, school on top of school. I'm not going to, like you don't argue with me when I fix things with your house and I tell you, do this, don't do this, we're doing this, shut up about this.
Right. Take my money.
Yeah.
Fix it. Go to Home Depot, buy what you... I'm like, well, what am I going to do? That's what she does.
Right. So, and it's less thinking for me because you spend all day solving people's problems, and with my other jobs, that's all I do all day long. Right. So when it's something like this, I don't want to think. I just want to do it. I want to follow the protocols. I want to follow the protocols correctly, and I trust her. And
we trust each other, so obviously it's much easier than someone who's just coming into my office, and it is what it is. We've known each other since we were teenagers, which is crazy because... She's already 45. I'm a little bit younger.
Yeah. Didn't like her the first semester of school because her hair was this long, like it was longer.
You loved my hair. You wanted to stroke it.
But you sat in front of me in Biology 101 and just flipped.
There's a lot of share.
And it was.
I had a lot of hair. Very Brooke Shields.
And then it was always wet, and then you were constantly flipping it at me, and I was like, okay, if she don't.
I'm not sure I was flipping it at you. I was preparing to nap in the very early classes. It's college.
Right.
Okay, so we talked about redox signals. Why? Because I said, okay, she responded well, and I'm going to teach her what this TCD is and kind of see when she's done with this. But I'm watching her work. It's very physical. She's up at 3, 4 in the morning normally meditating and all stuff, but she's staying in my house. It's a little bit off her game, but, we got to do what we got to do. And so
most people don't wake up the way my household wakes. Like everybody in our house is up at 4 a.m. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of activity.
Odd group of people.
We're Blasians that wake up very early.
The Filipinos do what they do.
Right.
So I don't know.
Okay.
They're doing karaoke and hip hop dancing because the Asians
and Blasians,
right? So I said, okay, we're going to try another redox signal, right? I'm going to go with this because it's easy. It's going to be easy for her. So I pulled it out a couple days ago, and so finally today she's like, let me try this. I said, this is what it's going to do. So this one's called ASEA, and it is another redox signal. So the redox signal in Restore is from bacteria that live in your gut. This is from a bacteria that lives in your cell. This is the redox signal, the fluid that the mitochondria make inside your cell. So your mitochondria, and we all talk about the mitochondria, mitochondrial health, and Mito Mondays, they are responsible for making most of the fluid, the cytoplasm, that's inside your cell. But it's not just water. It's not just water and salt. It has redox signaling within it. That's how it's communicating with all the other parts of the cell. They were able to formulate that. Okay, so it's kind of a slightly saltwater tasting little stuff, and a lot of people will be on the, it's just salt water. No, it's not. Okay, so I've had everybody responds a little differently, and I haven't committed myself as devoted to this because I actually responded with more of a detox achy, hurting, very low dosing, just 2 ounces a day. But it's, again, I was so flooded with mold and my Epstein-Barr and whatever, my cells just aren't working well. So I've done a lot of other things, and then I'm bringing this back on board, and I'm experiencing less detox now, which is great. Because it's going to upgrade my energy and my body's ability to heal itself. So it's going to renew everything and give me more energy. So all my cells can take care of themselves and do that autophagy that we talked about, finding all the broken pads, carburetors. It just says, oh, we need to replace this parts of the cell instead of this junky piece working. So she tried it today. 2 ounces only, which is half a dose. I said we're going to start real slow because it can increase your detox, and I don't want you to feel bad. So tell us, I walked in the door, and this is what she was talking about with me, with the ASEA.
Okay, actually, no, I texted you after you left. I had left out of here a little early to get some things for the house because, you know, I basically live here when I'm here, and we've known each other for a long time, so her house is my house. So I decided, okay, you know what? She got this for me. Let's go ahead and try it out. So I did that this morning before I did any of my normal supplementations that, you know, that I get, you know, I get my protocols from her and I follow them and they all help. And I was in the grocery store, and before I realized it, I mean, I had all of my stuff. It was 6 things that I went to go get. I was in there just walking in circles and my mind was spinning. I felt good. And I'm also, you know, we're all adults here. I'm on my cycle right now. And this is day 1.5.
Day 1 or something.
Like day 1.5. And usually like right before and day 1 is always really, really difficult. Lots of pressure and
fatigue and back pain.
Fatigue and that back pain and pressure. You know, I'm 45. Look great for 45. But I realized I'm walking around and I was just like, okay, I am hyped. Let me get back to the house because it is going to rain later and I still had some outside stuff to do. And I just wanted to, you know, get cracking on that, and also was expecting another contractor, blah, blah, blah. I get back here and I am doing my to-do list or redoing it, and I am just walking around, head spinning. I am on fire. I can't wait to get outside and start doing stuff.
So let's say that. So head spinning, meaning like in a good way, or did you feel like you're ruminating?
It was like everything in my brain lit up.
Okay.
I didn't feel tired. I wasn't groggy.
Yeah.
I was
had a nice energy surge.
Yeah, had it been a day like Sunday where it was very bright and sunny the entire day, I would have probably started painting. And like I would have like actually taken a rag, wiped down the side of the house where I just because I decided I want to power wash again, do some extra scraping, you know, just like prep stuff.
Right. And what did you say about it today? Like what you got done?
Okay, so yesterday I worked on the exterior pretty much the entire day, and you know, took some breaks and you know, went up on the roof and did some other things, and you know, it was a good day, but you know, it was just like, you know, it was 10 years ago, I would have already started painting. I would have been done. But this isn't 10 years ago. This is me at 45, and I'm retired, remember?
Right.
Retired. So I actually went outside and started. I got like one whole side of the house, and her house isn't really huge, but it's very long. And I realized that I had pretty much done a whole second pass around the house, additional scraping, and a bunch of other things in a matter of like a couple of hours. Whereas probably had I not done that, I would have been doing that the entire day. So I sent her a text message and I said, well, you know, just sidebar, I won't say exactly what I said in the text message because, you know, it's friends talking, friends talking. How's Zeneva?
Right.
I would...
But you did say it was kind of like a slow.
It was like having an IV drip of caffeine,
right? Because
it crept up on me. It wasn't like
and let's say that she's owned coffee shops, so she loves coffee. Like she loves.
Right. I've owned them. I've worked for many of them. Right. I've the whole coffee industry. I've been in and out of it.
I mean, that's a real compliment.
Yeah. So it was amazing. And then I sat down, and then because I wanted to write some things out, and there was an amazing amount of clarity that I haven't that kind of clarity I haven't had in a while.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's been a minute since that. I mean,
And part of that is there's more mitochondria in your brain than anywhere else. So the highest concentration of mitochondria are in your brain, and the second are in your heart. Because those.
in the heart.
Look at you. Oh, that was. So. We're very love oriented
Yes.
around you. You guys so cozy. You're
know.
like, oh, my heart.
I know. It has feelings.
I know. It will wipe the. Oh, let's not talk about that movie.
Right,
It's
right.
horrifying.
Right.
So, anyway, yeah. So that's why, because again, we fed a lot of it stuff, and so when the mitochondria in the brain, that's where a lot of this brain fog stuff comes from. The mental fatigue people are going through, because
Right.
this takes a tremendous amount of your caloric energy, and if it's not working on par, we want to keep it going. So. Just the ASEA, we're going to maybe kind of document it with you a little bit and kind of see. And so the dosing to begin with somebody typically is, let's start with 2 ounces a day, okay? And then we'll move into 2 ounces in the morning and then 2 ounces at night. She's like, she's like,
Yeah.
I'm not taking this at night, am
Yeah,
I?
I
mean,
asked her about an hour ago. I said,
No.
okay. So I was going into a little
Yeah.
bit more detail about
Yeah.
how I've been feeling all day. And then it dawned on me, I said, well, I'm supposed to take this at night. I will be up all night. I will be fixing the damn roof.
Right.
Like at 3 o'clock in the morning, I will be taking off shingles.
Yeah, that won't really happen. So, but we
Right.
said, okay, but we don't know. She might. It does cause, again, it's activation, and cells are, when things are suddenly talking with each other because they weren't able to, that could happen. So I'm like, yeah, we won't do it at night. We're going to stick with the 2 ounces in the morning, and we're going to keep seeing what that response is like. When she doesn't notice the energy change, really, we're going to bump it to the 2, either to the 2 and 2, or maybe we have to just do 4 in the morning. Some people will work their way up. Like this bottle, on that dosage of 4 ounces a day, is a week's worth. You're going to go through 1 a week, and so in a monthly shipment, there's 4 bottles. That's typically a standard. People will do 2 ounces in the morning, 2 ounces at night, and it's just basically keeping you super young. It's extremely anti-aging, high energy, keeping those mitochondria working, staving off all types of diseases and other energy issues. It's huge in the autism community, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, redox signals. So if I have to tell somebody like 2 or 3 things only, Restore, ASEA, and CBD. I'm going to go with Restore, ASEA, 2 redox signals, and I'm going to go with cannabis. As far as if I'm bare boned and this is all we're going to do, let's go with that. And the rest we can kind of get in food. But some people with bigger issues, like, my target dosing, a doctor that's working with me, helping me and treat me, he was thinking, ultimately my target dose needs to be about 8 ounces a day for about a 4-week period only to really get everything working, to help push out all the toxins and get things working again. Mm-hmm. I never even I did up to 4 ounces a day, and the detox, the body pain and aches were too intense for me. I had to back it off and just continue with pulling out more of the heavy metals. It was pushing my system too much. So, you have to read your body, know what you can do. But some people also do water fasting with this. So some of you didn't see me doing that water fasting. I know a guy that's gone like 115 days with this and water fasting. That's only. He's lost, about 200 some pounds, balanced all his numbers, reversed everything. He feels amazing. But this is what's giving him, and he's like an HVAC installer. I mean, he has to do a very physical job, or a plumber, something very, very physical contractor. Just to give you an idea, like that's what it is. So I'm gonna have a link in there to kind of show you what this is all about. And the version of it that I put on my face is the Renew 28. So the same product, the mitochondrial redox, upside down, so I'm giving her some of this to try now too. And so there's a little sample bottle, and so you have to shake it, and it's like just a really clear little liquid. And when I put this on morning and night, so I'll wash my face, right, and then it'll go all over my face, right. So, but I'm just putting it on right now. But that's about what I do right there. Okay, and this is why I had a new patient today. Guess what she said? She thought I was 25. I was like, oh, honey, you can go into the prize box, and she was 33. I turned 45 this month in a couple weeks. So Renew 28, why it's called that, because these skin cells should renew every 28 days. And that's what they do in a baby, but the older we get, they don't do that. This is the redox signal of the same thing, but in the topical form, to wrinkles, age spots. It's helped tremendously with my pores, with monthly acne. I don't really get that anymore. So this is what, people concerned about the looks of the skin is this, but then imagine if you're drinking it. And so the whole inside is getting basically younger and anti-aging plus energy.
Totally wanted to add something else about the ASEA. Okay, as far as the mental clarity, it just hit me that usually when I have that level of mental clarity, it's when I do, like a social media detox where I just go off the radar, or when I've been on a Vipassana for 3 days or 10 days. When I come back,
because that's a silent retreat. So we're just talking about a 3 or 10 day silent retreat, very set up. If you're interested in that, please look. I can put it in a comment.
Yeah. Also, I noticed that it was very easy to tune out distractions today. Like anything that I wanted to absolutely focus on, that's all there was.
And that's big for her.
Yeah. And I mean, I was able to compartmentalize a lot better.
Good.
Because I used to compartmentalize to the point where it was detrimental, I would say.
Yeah. And that's just letting you know your brain is not, once it had enough energy, it knows what to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of people sometimes think there's all these things wrong with them, and sometimes it's certain things are not, one or two things aren't working right. And it's like, oh, my networks know how to do that. I know how to concentrate. I know how to,
Yeah,
but you can't do it if you don't have enough fuel to actually do it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like when I decided to take, okay, I'm going to take 5 minutes and jump on my social media, because I noticed that there was conversations that I was in the middle of with people. So at 4 minutes and 58 seconds, I threw the phone down and was back to doing what I was doing.
Oh, good.
And
so
when I
sucked into it.
Yeah, and when I was doing that, me, I like to put on, I was listening to a new audio book, and I was able to, I was like, okay, in 10 minutes, I'm going to stop and take notes on what I just heard. And I wouldn't have to go back. It felt really, really good. It felt like everything, all the cylinders were firing. If I could draw it out, it would just be, more or less my brain just like lighting up all over the place, like little thunderstorms, which is what your mind looks like.
And this is what I hear most from women. They'll say, oh, I felt so much. And I'm like, really? I felt I didn't get that feeling. So here's the thing. I know I detoxed off of it. It's just the nature of how my mitochondria are damaged and, different. I don't know.
Right.
It just is what it is. So, I mean, I can explain that, but that's what we're dealing with. So you just don't know. You can have a little bit of detox, or you could have this amazing, wow, I feel energy. Now, as we move her dosage up over time, she might, there's going to maybe be some ups and downs. Right. That's how healing is. It's not linear.
And I'm not afraid of the downs with the ups. I mean, like, I'm just ready to just go ahead and do it. I don't have any fears about it. It's like, okay, this is what I have to do to repair myself and to, let my body do what it already knows how to do, stay out of the way. And in the meantime, get stuff done.
Yeah. And when we start with somebody with ASEA, or again, because redox signaling, this isn't a drug. We're trying to, it's a signal to get your body to work the way it's going to. It knows what that is, and it says, oh, I know now. Now I can just, it's like they can talk to each other. If the cells can talk to each other, if the mitochondria can have that energy source, that all of the communication, your body knows what to do. It doesn't need so much stuff. So we do say commit to like 6 months, like, people say, oh, I tried that. How long you do it? 3 weeks. I went to therapy, didn't do anything. How many times did you go? 4 times.
Right.
That's not really therapy. Or I went gluten-free, and how long? Oh, no, I tried it for like 3 weeks. It didn't do anything. That isn't gluten-free.
Right.
You didn't try it. It's got to be at least 6 weeks for it to get out of your system at all. Right. And then they're often telling me it when they're drinking a Bud Light at a party. I'm gluten-free. And I'm like, is it a joke, or are we? I don't know if they're kidding. And I finally go, you do know that's gluten, right? And they're like, it is. I'm like, oh, okay. But then they'll think something doesn't work because they're not getting coached on it. So to me, with anything, again, I've talked about its consistency and its length of doing something. Like some things will say, if you don't feel this in 5 days, don't use it. If this doesn't work in 10 sessions, we're going to stop. If you can say, you can know that, like, if this isn't going to work, we're going to know. Other things, I'm like, look, you got to do it for this amount of time. Methylation disorders, it takes 9 months minimum to start getting somebody balanced. If they're not, this is how long it's going to take. Like, get on board, or we can't help you. I mean, other things.
It didn't take 5 minutes for you to like jack your body up. Yeah. Like it didn't take. It was years of me not taking care of myself, or ignoring things, or just life, life happening, or again, with me, a lot of times it's like, oh, that doesn't feel good, but I just need to just deal with it. I just need to,
And sometimes we do need to deal with it.
I mean,
it just is what it is. Sometimes your job is job, and it's like, I'll do the best I can to protect myself, and
And then,
you know what I mean?
You know, then the periods of time where I ate utter and complete crap for me, and I stress for me, because there are some things that other people can eat and they're fine with.
Yeah.
Good for you. But for me, there are certain things that's like, okay, this does not agree with me, but for whatever reason, I'm just going to go ahead and woof it down
And
anyway.
we all
and
have done it.
Yeah, and if you do that consistently over time,
Right.
it's going to do it's going to have a certain result's going to be in your body. So that result can't be reversed in 5 days of doing, I'm going to do 100 push-ups for 5 days and I'm going to be buff. No,
I love
you're
the 10-day colon cleanse.
Right.
And you're clean.
No.
Like, no.
No.
Nothing has moved out of your brain in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So that's why it's back to what it was. So I'm just saying, so the ASEA is one of those things we say, it's expect a 6-month commitment when you try it. Most people, when they start, they're like, oh yeah, it's well worth it. So I'm getting back on board with it, and I'm just gonna go really, really slowly and push myself. I'm not having as strong a detox at all this time, so that's really good for me. I was doing so many different things in so many ways. I had to be careful with lights and saunas and lasers and magnets and ozone and electricity, and I was doing a lot at once, and I needed to be careful of how much I put my body through, how much die-off I experienced at one time. That's where you're kind of going to feel things as it's pushing and dying. Things are dying, they have toxins, and that's what makes you feel bad. So we just have to pace that. I don't want all the toxins, all the mercury, all the chemicals, all the different drugs over a lifetime, all the antibiotics, well, all these things get stored. If you've been through chemo or radiation, all of that's stored in the body, and so it starts dumping stuff off. You have to do it gently. You don't need it all coming out too fast. So that's where that comes from. So it's like, give it time, and let's commit to something to know, is this really going to give us the results we want or not? So, but I'm glad. So glad you felt awesome, and I just wanted to kind of do something. So, cool.